Okay, welcome back to the C Files, folks. Thanks for joining me here, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to be in a devotion time again, and this is going to be the book of Psalms. Remember, Psalms are song lyrics; they're poetry that are put to music, and so that's the genre of the Psalms. And I'm going to be in 125, and I think I'm going to, these are short Psalms. So I think I'm going to do 125, 126, 127, and 128. And then once I flip the page, then I'll know that 129 is where I need to start on the next one. We are almost through the Psalms. It goes up to 150. And so early, probably late January, early February, we should be able to move on to the next book. Now, Job, I'm doing, so we're not going to do Job. The next book, oh, good night. Had one just fall out. The next book is Proverbs. We're doing Proverbs. We do something out of Proverbs each day. And so put this up here. And so what is after Proverbs anyway? We'll find the right book. It's let's see. So it would be almost there. Come on. Keep going. Hard to turn. I got all these markers in it. I don't want to put the elbow up and block like that, but have no choice. Looks like Song of Solomon we'll go to. Or Ecclesiastes. Oh, yeah. Ecclesiastes is a really good book. I forgot what was after Proverbs. Ecclesiastes is going to be a really good study. It's a study in wisdom, much like Proverbs, but only a different way. Solomon waxes eloquent in Ecclesiastes. All right, so let's get into Psalm. And it's going to be Psalm 125. This is a song of ascent. It means they would sing these songs going up to Jerusalem, usually to a high holy day or something like that. And this is the Lord, the strength of his people. Now think of this as a song lyric. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people, and from this time forth and forever. So there are mountains that surrounded Jerusalem. For the scepter, and the Lord surrounds his people. So this is saying the Lord is a protector of his people. For the scepter of wickedness shall not rest. Yeah, wickedness never rests, does it? It's I was in law enforcement for 30 years. And wickedness not resting really wears you down. If you look at someone that's been in law enforcement, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, they're tired. They're worn down. They've seen enough trauma already. They've seen enough wickedness already. They know it exists. It's very, very real to them because they've seen it up close and personal. They have stared at wickedness face to face, and it wears you down. Believe me, it wears you down. So this is so true when it says, the scepter of wickedness shall not rest. Sometimes I thought the jail was just a revolving door. Because we'd put them in, they'd come out. We'd put them back in, they'd come out. They kept committing crimes over and over again. For the scepter of wickedness shall not rest on the land allotted to the righteous, lest the righteous reach out their hands to iniquity. Do good, O Lord, to those who are good, and to those who are upright in their hearts. As for such as turn aside to the crooked ways, the Lord shall lead them away with the workers of iniquity. Peace be upon Israel. And that was Psalm 125. Psalm 126 is also a song of ascent. Matter of fact, all of these are going to be psalms of ascent. So we'll just say that up front. And this one is a joyful return to Zion. When the Lord brought back the captivity of Zion, we were like those who dream. Wow. Now, you have to understand this is talking about coming back out of captivity. Well, this is written prior to the fall of Israel to Babylon, to Nebuchadnezzar. So my mind should not go there. See, this is talking about context. You have to understand when these were written because why are the dates of these important? Well, that's the reason. I could easily say, oh, this was, them coming back from captivity out of Babylon, but that's not what it is. Now, it could be captivity out of Egypt that he's referring to. When the Lord brought back the captivity of Zion, we were like those who dream. We were free, we could dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue was singing. When they came across the Red Sea after it had parted, and then they got to the other side, and their enemies were vanquished in the waters as they closed back up. They sang the song of Moses, and I believe this is what this is referring to, that their tongues were singing. He's talking about them coming out in the Exodus. And our tongue was singing. And then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are glad. So, one of the things that Moses made very clear to the children of Israel is they must remember what God did for them in the Exodus. And that's what this is. This is a remembrance of what God did for Israel in the Exodus. Bringing back our captivity, O Lord, as the streams in the south. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. He who continually goes forth weeping, bearing seed for sowing, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. There was an old gospel song called Bringing in the Sheaves. And I believe they may have gotten that song from this psalm. Psalm 127 is laboring and prospering with the Lord. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Savor those words, hang on those words. Because many homes in our generation, in our time, have been broken through divorce, through financial ruin, many other means that families and homes have been broken. The Lord has to build the house. The Lord has to be the foundation of everything you do. And if He's not, the foundation is shifting sand and everything will come crumbling down. Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. There's not enough police and not enough military to protect a nation or a city that has turned its back on the Lord. And we have seen that as examples in our current day in the United States. We have seen cities who are that are literally crumbling before our very eyes because they've turned their back on the Lord. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives his beloved sleep. You can sleep well when you have a clear conscience toward the Lord. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. Okay, now this one we really, really need to grasp a hold because children are a heritage from the Lord. Children are not an inconvenience. They're not a blob of protoplasm to be discarded. They're not a clump of cells to be discarded. They're not a fetus to be ripped out of the womb by someone who does that kind of thing. They are an heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. God gives a great gift in the fruit of the womb, a great gift. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them. A quiver being a holder for the arrows. He has a holder that's full of arrows. Having many children is like that. Happy is the man who has his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but shall speak with their enemies in the gate. Um, I'm so blessed to have 3 children and 9 grandchildren walking with the Lord. And I can't tell you how rich I feel. I'm not rich financially. I'm doing okay financially. I mean, I'm not hurting, but as far as family goes, oh my goodness, I feel like a multi-billionaire. It's just, it's incredible. Build a beautiful family and you will be blessed the rest of your life by that family. Psalm 128. And this is blessings for those who fear the Lord. Blessed is everyone who fears the Lord, who walks in his ways. When you eat the labor of your hands, you shall be happy, and it shall be well with you. Your wife shall be like a fruitful vine in the very heart of your house, your children like olive plants all around your table. Behold, thus shall the man be blessed who fears the Lord. The Lord bless you of Zion, and may you see the good of Jerusalem all the days of your life. Yes, may you see your children's children. Now remember, this was written before Christ came on the scene, and this was a time when David, probably when David was king, this was written. All right, king of Israel, the same David that slew Goliath. We are going to go to Proverbs now, and I think I'm going to use today, I'm going to do Proverbs chapter, oh, let's go with Proverbs 6. And Proverbs is a book of wisdom. It's pithy sayings of wisdom, if you will. So it's in the poetical book genre, but it's actually in the wisdom book genre. We should say a wisdom book. My son, if you become surety for your friend, surety, that's a financial terminology that's used here. And let me, do I have, hopefully I have that available. Yes. Okay. I think this can explain surety better than I can. So let me use this, and hopefully it's in here. Okay, there's the S's. I want SU, MNOP, QR. We want to go. Here we go. SU. Surety. Here we are. So this is surety. Now, is there a surety before this, or is that? Yeah, this is surety. An example this one is given is Genesis 26:9. It says, and Abimelech called Isaac and said, behold, for a surety she is thy wife. And this proverb is using the term surety as well, and is it spelt the same? Where am I? I'm sure it is. Yes, it is. So he says, Behold, of a surety she is your wife. And how said you, She is my sister? And Isaac said to him, Because I said, Lest I die for her. That's Genesis 26:9. But let's see what it says about surety. Although the word surety occurs in the AV, the Authorized Version, the King James, 14 times in the singular, once in the plural, and once in the form suretyship, it is used in the obsolete sense of confidence, assuredness, or certain knowledge four times. We might now just say surely, naturally, or modern versions have all updated surety in these four passages. However, only rarely were forms of sure used. When the AV uses surety in the more modern sense of security for the payment of a debt, it is usually retained by our modern versions. Now, it's the payment of a debt. Security for the payment of a debt is what the meaning is here in Proverbs. So, in other words, collateral. We would say collateral today. If I buy a car, and I used my bank to finance the car, which, by the way, I would never finance a car. But if I did, the car would be the surety. It would be the collateral. So if I don't make the payment, the bank comes and gets the car and takes the car, right? So that's what this is talking about. So a payment, the collateral or the security for the payment of a debt, it is usually retained by our modern versions. Yet, when Navy uses the form suretyship, it is unanimously corrected, even though the term is still employed in the business law business law textbooks. All right. So that is what that means. I'll put this over here. There we go. So now when I read this, maybe it'll make more sense. My son, if you become surety for a friend, if you have collateral, if you use something that you own as collateral to borrow money from your friend, that's what it's saying. And then you have to pay back that money, right? And he could take the thing that you used as collateral. If you have shaken hands in pledge for a stranger, you are snared by the words of your mouth. You are taken by the words of your mouth. If I buy a car um, by financing the car through the bank, and the car becomes the collateral, then you got a problem. Because if you hit a situation where you can't make those payments, guess what they're going to do? They're going to repossess your car. See where this is going? He's saying bad situation. So do this, my son, and deliver yourself, for you have come into the hand of your friend. Go and humble yourself. Plead with your friend. Give no sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, and like a bird from the hand of the fowler. If you find yourself in debt, do whatever you can to get out of debt. That's what this is saying. Try to get out of it. If you can return the car that you bought on credit because you know that those payments are going to be a burden on your back and you're able to return the car and say, no mas, don't want, please rip up the contract, and they're willing to do it. The Bible says, yes, do that. Live within your means, spend only what you have. That's what it's saying here. All right. The folly of indulgence, indolence. Indolence. You pronounce it. All right. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Hmm. Woo-hoo. First, it's talking about financing something and saying, get out of that, pay that debt off quickly, or get out of the debt. That's the first thing it says. Now it's saying, oh, if you're lazy and you don't want to work and you don't want to earn your way, go to the ant. Look at the ant. Consider her ways and be wise, which having no captain, overseer, or ruler, provides her supplies in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. How long will you slumber, O sluggard? When will you rise from your sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep? So shall your poverty come on you like a prowler, and your need like an armed man. Us old folks, us old fogies here, gray-haired people like me, we love to complain about the younger generation. Oh, they're so lazy. They don't want to work. They don't want to do nothing. Uh, Apparently, that same complaint was occurring 3,000 years ago when that was written. Some things never change. Nothing new under the sun. There have been lazy people every generation since the creation of mankind. There were lazy people in my generation too. And the older generation was complaining about us. Now, the generation that raised my generation came through the Great Depression, World War II, Great Depression, World War II, the Korean War, maybe even up to the Vietnam War in the later years. Um, and can you imagine how they thought about my generation if my generation was moaning and groaning and complaining about getting up and going to do something? As much as they had been through? Oh my. I mean, yeah. And so every generation complains about the other generation coming up being lazy. But there are people who are lazy. There are people who are lazy. And there are consequences to being lazy. Unless you have a situation where, Papa Government, Uncle Sam takes care of you and says, oh, you can be as lazy as you want. We'll just give you money and you can be lazy. And that brings people to ruin when that happens. Trust me, that brings people and families to ruin. All right. The wicked man. A worthless person, a wicked man, walks with a perverse mouth. He winks with his eyes. He shuffles his feet. He points with his fingers. Perversity is in his heart. He devises evil continually. He sows discord, right? Talking about the other guy. Therefore, his calamity shall come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. So there you go. That's what happens to the wicked man. These six things the Lord hates, yes, seven are an abomination to him. A proud look. Oh, I'm so much better than everybody else. I'm so, have you ever run into somebody who's just really arrogant and proud? They've accomplished something in life that they think is the pinnacle of whatever, and they become very arrogant and proud about it. God hates that kind of stuff. A proud look, a lying tongue, those who lie, deceive, use propaganda, indoctrination, things like that to deceive others. God hates that. Hands that shed innocent blood. God hates murder, absolutely despises murder. A heart that devises wicked plans, uh, conspiracies of wickedness. Feet that are swift to running to evil. A riot breaks out, and then the wicked want to run in and join in on the riot, for example. Or looting of a store breaks out. The wicked want to run in and join the wickedness of the looting of that store, that kind of thing. Um, Now, some people would take real exception to me saying what I just said because they don't believe it's wicked and their minds are distorted, seared with a hot iron. Uh, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that are swift to in running to evil, a false witness who speaks lies, lying in court, for example, and one who sows discord among the brethren. The gossiper or the complainer who sows discord in church, for example, is something that God absolutely hates. And many who do that need to learn this proverb and learn not to do that. And consider the biblical truth of the matter, not just your feelings on it and how you think you're righteous in your position and the deacon board isn't, or whatever it might be. Okay, beware of adultery. My son, keep your father's command and do not forsake the law of your mother. Bind them continually upon your heart, tie them around your neck. When you roam, they will lead you. When you sleep, they will keep you. When you awake, they will speak with you. For the commandment is a lamp and the law a light. Reproofs of instruction are the way of life to keep you from the evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a seductress. Do not lust after her beauty in your heart, nor let her allure you with her eyelids. For by means of a harlot, a man is reduced to a crushed crust of bread. And an adulteress will prey upon his precious life. Can a man take fire into his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can one walk on hot coals and his feet not be sheared or seared, I should say? So is he who goes in to his neighbor's wife, whoever touches her shall not be innocent. People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy himself when he is starving. Yet when he is found, he must restore sevenfold, even if he's starving. If he steals, God does not accept that. He says, you're going to have to restore. So don't steal. Get things honestly. Um, there we are. He may have to give up all the substance of his house. That's the way the law was back then. Whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks understanding. I'll say it again. Whoever, I gotta say this one again because this one is one that is so prominent in our society, and people just totally clueless when it comes to cheating on their spouse. Clueless. Just this one irritates me because this one is stop cheating on your spouses. Whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks understanding. You lack understanding if you cheat on your spouse. You're clueless. He who does so destroys his own soul. Here's the problem. And I'm gonna get heavy with this one. And this one's gonna hit me as well. It's gonna hit every man and some women watching this video. And I don't care how wonderful of a Christian you are. Jesus said, if you look upon a woman to lust after her, you've committed adultery in your heart already. And we destroy our own souls when we do so. So before we have a lack of grace towards someone who actually goes out and physically commits adultery on their spouse, before we counsel them, before we harshly and angrily rebuke them, we should consider our own heart first. Have we committed adultery in our heart, even though we may not have gone and done it physically with another woman? That will destroy self-righteousness. Wounds and dishonor he will get, and his reproach will not be wiped away. For jealousy is a husband's fury, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. The husband's going to come get you if you cheat with his wife. He will accept no recompense, nor will he be appeased, though you give many gifts. You say, well, wouldn't the police department come and get the husband for, harming or killing the other man who cheated on his wife? Because that would be murder. 3,000 years ago, when this was written in Israel, there was no police department. Consider that one. All right, that's Proverbs chapter 6. Where are we? We're at 31. Okay, so, ooh, caught that. All right. Oh, come on. Stop backing up on me. Come over here. All right, here we go. Yeah, this is what I caught. It marks my spots. They fall out every time I turn the page because I got it up on a stand. Looks like we're going to be in, what are we going to be in the next video? It's going to be 15. No, it's going to be 16. Ezekiel 16. I did 14 and 15 last time. So it's going to be Ezekiel 16. So before you go to the next video, turn to Ezekiel 16 and let's read along with each other. Thanks for watching. God bless. I'll see you next time here on the C-Files.